digital knowledge. And at the same time, we've been able to understand how to go through product concept and also product making as well, inshallah. And we've been able to, we had a panel discussion that had the Director General of LCCI. We had our able brother in-house, Mr. Kazim Naibi, and also we had the CEO of Alal Invest, the person of no other person than Brother Abdulaziz Oguntoibo. It was a really interesting and engaging section yesterday morning because we were able to address quite a lot of things during the first part of the conference, of the summit. However, later on in the day, we had some presentation from our zones, which they were able to give us ways through which Nasfat can get involved in several ways to support the Digital Economy Ministry as well. So it was really good. And before the end of the day, we also had the privilege of sitting down with our able special guest, the person of Latif Oladimeji. Today is going to be an interesting one. As part of our package, we have the leadership package. We'll be listening to our dear brother, Mr. Taufik Babayeju, who will be leading us on leadership today, inshallah. And we'll also have a bit of information from AVEC as well about how do you get employed. And we'll be listening into digital marketing as part of the summit. We are looking into today tends promise to be interesting and also educational as well. Before we continue, I will have to ask our dear father to give us opening prayer, no other person than the secretary of the Nasfat Mission Board, the person of Sheikh Imam Uthman Animashau. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, my brother. May Allah continue to reward you. We thank Almighty Allah, who has made it possible for us to gather here today. We thank Him for what He has done for us yesterday since we started this 2 days event. And we also thank Him for bringing us here today alive in health and with our iman, our faith intact. We thank Him that He is also going to make this today, of what we have lined up, a success. And we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to guide us and make everything we do here count as what He loves, and also reward us in this world and in the year after. We are starting in His name, the Bismillah Fatahna al-Bab, wa sallayna ma al-ahbab, wa darati baynana al-akwab, sharibnaha bi Bismillah. We are started in His name. We pray that He's going to believe that, and also pray that He is going to be with us. He's already with us because we are started in His name. And we also pray that He's going to be with us throughout all the session, in guidance, in protection, and He will make this event a beneficial one. We pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will now accept all our strivings as acts of ibadah. And as we approach the month of Ramadan, we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless the month of Rajab and Shaban, and also make us reach the month of Ramadan in good health, in wealth, and in good spiritual state. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad kama sallaita ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Sayyidina Ibrahim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad kama barakta ala Sayyidina Ibrahim wa ala ali Sayyidina Ibrahim warham Sayyidina Muhammadin وعلى سيدنا محمد كما رحمت سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. الحمد لله على ما كان والحمد لله على ما يكون والحمد لله على ما سيكون. سبحانك الله سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلوا على النبي الكريم.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Thank you very much, my Imam. We ask Allah to reward you well for that fantastic prayer. It was quite detailed, and that's why I can tell that Nasfat is always made of good stuff as well. Thank you very much, and we appreciate your presence with us today, sir. Moving on, we'll quickly take a quick, brief goodwill message. And the message will be coming from no other person than our dear father, the national or the Nasfat security secretary, the national one, no other person than Alhaj DCP Wahid Ayilara. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir. We have a few minutes.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum.
We can hear you, sir. Go on, sir.
Okay, thank you. On behalf of Nasfat security and other executive members in the House, I wish the youth successful deliberation on this visual training conference. I also wish to thank the organizers for the fantastic job they have been doing. Although many of us are no more youth, a person like me now, I don't know how to qualify myself, but we have been partaking in all the activities. Only not just the youth are benefiting from the knowledge. We too are also benefiting from it, and we are also taking the message, the knowledge, learn from all your programs. Fantastic program, fantastic people, showcasing the knowledge. To also benefit from it. I wish you fruitful deliberation and events, and I also pledge the support of the NEC members, the support of security in particular for all your activities. I wish you all fruitful event. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
Amen. Thank you very much, sir. We are quite grateful for your presence and we appreciate you. Thank you for the kind word. We ask Allah to continue to bless you and the entire NEC members and the entire security team. We appreciate your presence, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. We will move on now. Moving on to the first major talk for today. And what we'll be doing today, inshallah, we will be looking into, we have our first speaker today, and the first speaker is no other person, as the person has told you, we are looking into leadership. Because when we say this retreat is about how best can we understand the concept of servant leadership, and also civic leadership, and how do we become a responsible leader? And this will be taken by no other person than our brother, Mr. Taufik Adebowale Babayeju. Mr. Taufik Adebowale Babayeju is a seasoned management and technology professional with over 2 decades experience and expertise in business transformation, strategy and innovation, technology consulting, project program, and portfolio management. He also deals with change management, and also it deals in detail with learning and development. Mr. Babayeju is presently the CEO of iCentral, one of the foremost business solutions companies, where he has had the privilege of managing several portfolios and led high impact transformation projects and programs. Mr. Babayeju has developed extensive management and leadership capabilities while delivering value and solutions across different sectors, such as telecom, IT, finance, government, development, agri, health, education, SME, and so on. I can go on. He has the vast of knowledge. He holds MBA from Lagos Business School. He has also acquired executive education from renowned institutions such as Harvard Business School, IESE Business School, coupled with several other global certification. I'm telling you, if I continue, we will end up just reading his profile, and that will be it. So I think it's about time. Let me just call on our guest speaker, Mr. Taufik Babayeju. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
It is a privilege to have you today, sir. We hope our members will be able to engage, pay attention, grab their pen and paper, and be able to understand the concept of leadership that you're about to give us.
Is the first of its kind. And I'm sure we're all going to learn, including myself, from this economic summit. So the outline for my presentation is broken into 5. And we're first going to look at the concept of leadership before we even look at, servant leadership, civic leadership, and responsible leadership. Then we're going to close. But these are the 5 items that I'm going to be talking around. But again, let me quickly say that part of this presentation is adapted from my book, Unlock the Secrets to Winning Life, just to declare that. So let's delve into this, the concept of leadership. What do we understand by leadership? What is leadership for everybody? We call the politicians leaders, we call our bosses leaders, we call virtually everybody that has some form of control over us, we call them leaders. But in actual fact, it's not everybody that is in position of authority that is a leader. So let's demystify leadership. What is leadership about?
Everything.
Leadership is about influence. It's about influencing others. Influencing others is a matter of disposition, not the position. So let's understand that. And this is postulated by one of the world's, most renowned leadership experts, who is John Maxwell. So it's not everybody that has a position, like a governor, like a CEO, that is automatically a leader. You can lead from anywhere. Okay? Position gives authority. Also, with authority comes power. The power is all about perception. Leadership, however, is not about power, but leadership is about effective use of power, which is your influence. Leadership is not about a leader. Leadership is what the leader makes other people to do. So it's all about your influence. And from time to time, you'll be seeing this Leadership 101, which I call from my book. To be a person of influence, you must learn to solve other people's problems. Seek to live beyond yourself. So let's look at the concept of servant leadership. I'm sure you've heard some governors in Nigeria call themselves servant leaders. You know, we like to tout, concepts or terms, buzzwords around. But what exactly is servant leadership? Okay. But before we go into that, another leadership 101 for us. Okay. Leadership is an art only learned through service to others. So if there is no service to leadership, to others, there's no leadership. You are only holding a position. And we need to learn to think beyond leadership, to think leadership beyond the position of authority that people have. So the concept of servant leadership was actually founded by a gentleman called Robert Greene in the 1970. He said it's all of he said the leadership philosophy is that in which the goal of the leader is to serve. Greenlee believed that a leader exists to serve the people instead of the people working to serve the leader. But what we have in many organizations, in government institutions, is everybody is serving the leader, not the other way around. Now, servant leadership, should focus, according to him, to ask some basic questions. Do those served grow as persons? Do they, while being served, become healthier, wiser, freer, and more autonomous? More likely themselves to become servants and not become lords over others. So what we see in our environment is somebody comes for your vote, gets into House of Assembly, it does not become a servant. It becomes a lord over you. Oh, honorable, hey, everybody respects him, gives him privileges because now he's in a position of authority, but he is not actually leading. And for people that look up to him, there's no likelihood that these people will also become servants because they've seen the perks and the paraphernalia of the office and how they're being used and most times being abused. And they feel when I get into power also, this is how I want to become, like a boss. A servant leader shares power, puts the needs of the people and the team first, and helps them to develop, perform as highly as possible. So since the turn of century, we've also seen this leadership style being popularized in software development for some of us that in the spirit of the digital economy that we're talking about. I'm sure some of you learned about product development yesterday. So in Scrum and Agile methodology, it's about servant leadership. It's very popularized in that environment where you don't tell people what to do. You tell them your expectation and they will tell you how they want to do it and when they can deliver it. So another leadership 101. Your job as a leader is not to be the best at everything. Of course, you can't even be the best at everything. But to lead a team who are the best and thrive at what they do. So with a servant leader, the people thrive. That's the whole essence in servant leadership. Let's quickly go into civic leadership so that we demystify all these concepts around leadership. Civic engagement means working to make a difference in the civic life of our community, developing the combination of knowledge, skills, and value and motivation to make that difference. So when you see activists, when you see community leaders, they are civic leaders. They work tirelessly, and selflessly to promote the quality of life of the community through both political and non-political processes. So for an NASG, for example, is a civic organization, and so many other organizations like that. So what the non-profit organizations do is civic, because they are most concerned about how to develop, the quality of life of the community. Again, another leadership 101 here. The value of our lives does not, or is not in what we do for ourselves, but in what we do for us, for others. In Nasfat, the civic leadership and servant leadership is what we imbibe a lot, where the chairman of Nasfat is not necessarily leading from the front. You will not see him, in front of, the Asalatu or trying to be everything. And we don't have a system where your, chief missioner is everything to the organization. So these two concepts of leadership, civic leadership, is what the youth wing is actually practicing. And servant leadership is what the leadership of Nasfat have always been, propagating. So let's look at responsible leadership. Like they say, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is about responsibility, whether you like it or not. When you have a family of 5, and the last born is the one that takes responsibility over the siblings, the father, the mother, and everybody, what happens? Automatically assumes, the leadership position. I'm not talking about being the firstborn. No, that is the position. The leadership role comes from the responsibility that you carry amongst your friends, amongst your team members, even within an organization. You realize that the CEO wants to have a meeting and is saying, let's Usman, or Mustafa be in the meeting. The meeting will never happen because Mustafa doesn't hold any position within the organization, but he rallies, is very responsible, and they feel that his contribution will go a long way. So when they say you should wait for somebody to be part of the meeting or the meeting will not hold, it's because this is the person that takes responsibility amongst his peers. So leadership is all about responsibility. There is no leadership without responsibility, okay? You can delegate some part of your responsibilities, okay? But you have to take responsibility for everything eventually. So let's look at the 5 dimensions of responsible leadership. This was also propounded by an INSEAD emeritus professor called Henry Claude. So it divided this responsible leadership into 5 dimensions. Number 1 is awareness. Okay, you cannot lead people without first being aware of yourself, who you are, your purpose, why you're doing what you're doing. So it looked at it in 3, each dimension, it broke it down into 3 tripod, which is individual, organizational, and societal. So the individual asked the question, how can I know myself better? Because where the purpose is unknown, abuse becomes inevitable. So as a responsible leader, you hold yourself that responsibility to first of all find yourself. Okay, so how do I discover myself? The second question you'll be asking is, how can I enhance awareness of what is happening at my firm? How can I boost, for example, how can I boost transparency? Then for the societal, you're looking at how can I increase my awareness of what is happening in the world around me? So awareness is first key to being a responsible leader, because what you don't know is bigger than you. Number 2, of course, is vision. Vision is what separates a leader from the rest. So as an individual, you start asking yourself, how do I envision myself in 5 years? Where do I want to be? So that when things come your way, you understand that, no, this is not where I want to be. I don't want to be part of this. Yes, this aligns with my 5-year or 10-year vision. Then for the organization, for example, I was privileged to be part of the strategic committee for Nasfat vision recently. And this is an organization that is looking at the next 10 years. What would Nasfat look like? So organizational, how do I envision myself, my firm, or my organization, Nasfat or Nasfat Youth Wing, the next 5 years or 10 years? Societal, what is my vision for the planet 5 or 10 years from now? So when you see a president or a leader like the former American president that takes US out of the climate change, and another one comes in and say, hey, we need to go back to the climate change, to the Paris Accord, to make the world more sustainable and make the planet more, more livable for all of us. It's all about vision, because the vision is not just about you, it's about the organization, it's about the society. Imagination is where you can picture, see yourself differently. Could I see myself being a different person, a different manager, a different leader? Because part of your job as a leader is to evolve so that mediocrity does not take over you, so that you're not living in the glory of the past. Then look at your organization. How could my corporation have different values and another corporation, culture? Then you also look at the society. What kind of society do we, or do I want to leave to the grandchildren or the children unborn? This is how leaders think. They don't think about themselves alone. They create an environment that is livable, suitable, that is sustainable for their unborn generation. So how you understand that an environment or a leader or a country is going the right way is when they have their vision 2050 and look at what will possibly happen. How are we preparing ourselves for 15, 20 years from now? How would our kids live when we leave? So the fourth one is, of course, responsibility. We can't flog this enough, because everything that you do as a leader is to take responsibility. You don't give excuses as a leader. Even when your team go wrong, you take responsibility as a leader. You don't go to your customers and say, I'm sorry, it's my boy that did this thing. No, Oga will fix it. No. You take the responsibility on behalf of your team. So as an individual, though I cannot fix everything that is wrong with the world, how can I maintain and extend my own sense of responsibility as a leader? Of course, it was said that, or it's been said that if we want to change the world, we must first of all change ourselves. And for you to change yourself, you must first of all start taking responsibility for your action and inactions. For organization also, you look at it and ask yourself, how can I account for the negative externalities of my firm's behavior and build responsibility and sustainability in my corporate strategy and at all levels? So this is where CSR comes in. This is where sustainability comes in. This is where organizational responsibility comes in. For example, for an organization that is into chemicals, for example, say Dangote Petrochemical or NMPC, and you create waste. How do you dispose of those wastes properly, that the negative externalities of your firm or the behavior of your organization does not affect the society? Then you look at it from the societal point of view in responsibility as well, that instead of privatizing gains and externalizing losses, how can I ensure that my firm has a net positive impact on the society? These days, we don't only look at organizational value from how much they make, but how they are impacting the society. So number 5, of course, without action, without implementation, vision is just an hallucination. Okay, you're just thinking, you're dreaming. So it's good to imagine. It's good to have a vision, clear vision as a leader, but without taking critical, action that translates this vision of yours to reality, everything becomes a waste. So at the end of the day, everything rises and falls on leadership, and the leadership needs to take what? Critical action that can ensure success of himself, the organization, and the society. So you look at action from 3 perspectives also, and you say, how can I cultivate the strength of character that will inspire trust and the work of talk? You ask yourself at organizational level, how can I develop the courage to take action and give voice to my values while inspiring others at all levels in the organization to do so? Because it's not about what you say, it's about what you do as a leader. People are going to see, they're going to watch to see what you do, not what you come to pronounce as a leader. That's the difference between a leader and a talker. So some people told us that, when they get a power, nobody will travel abroad, for medical treatment or whatever. But hey, are we still going for medical treatment abroad? Yes, it's easier to say it from where you sit. Excuse me. When you're criticizing, the previous leaders, then when you get to the position of leadership, people are going to hold you accountable for what you did not do, not what you said. Every word that you've said needs to be backed by action. Then you need to look at it from the societal point of view. How can I contribute to building a social environment where no one cops out or passes the buck or dreads the risk of action? Part of the problem with the society right now is the fact that people are not held accountable for their action. There's too much impunity. So if I can get away with it, so why won't I do it? So another leadership 101. No one will join your movement if you're not seen to be moving forward by taking the lead. In closing, I just want us to have this, group exercise. I like to end my conversation with a group exercise. What does a responsible leader do? From all of the things that we've talked about, what does a responsible leader do? If I can get some, some answers from the audience, I'll be glad. What does a responsible? So someone is raising hand.
Okay. I will give him a right to talk. The first person is TJ. I'll give him right to talk. Please unmute yourself, sir.
Oh, thank you.
The leader takes responsibility, sir.
Okay.
It takes responsibility, sir.
Thank you. That's fantastic. Can we take another more?
Okay. We have
maybe about 3.
Adekunle side. Oh, he dropped his hand. I think that's it. Okay, I will take Adekunle side. Adekunle side, you still want to talk? You're going back and forth, sir. Okay, we'll take Razak. Adekunle side, please unmute yourself.
Okay.
9 participants have raised up their hands. Wa alaikum salam.
Now, leaders also make sure that they tend to look after their followers.
Fantastic. It's our job. That is servant leadership. It is our job as leaders to make sure that we eat last. We make sure that the people that we serve, we ensure that when I say they eat, I'm not saying food. We make sure that we take care of them, they are good, and they are comfortable before we start thinking about ourselves. For example, you have an organization where it's the end of the month and you have 1 million naira in the account, and the salary of your team members is 700,000 naira. As a leader, you go ahead and take maybe 700,000 or 800,000 naira and tell your people to wait till next month to get their salary. They can see it. But if at the end of the month, you pay them their 700,000 naira and you wait till you have more funds, till you can pay yourself. That way, your people start working for you. They understand that you're taking responsibility and making sure that they are okay before you get very okay, very comfortable. Thank you very much, sir.
Would you be taking more, or is that A?
Yeah, maybe one more.
Okay,
it's just to show the understanding of the team.
We'll take Razak. Mr. Razak, please unmute yourself, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, to my point of view, I believe a good leader is supposed to be committed, as in commitment to being a leader, like carrying every of the followers along. A true, responsible leader is supposed to be transparent enough to his or her followers. That's my point of view.
Thank you very much. That is absolutely spot on. Okay, you need to be transparent and you need to carry people along. Most usually, you need to be committed. So leadership is not a tea party. It's not somewhere you come because you need a position. You want them to call you president or vice president or chairman. It's about getting the work done. It's about commitment to the organizational goal, to the dream of the people. Because without commitment, there's no success. Thank you very much for that. That will be the last. I've seen in the comment section also that a leader should be innovative and creative. That's absolutely spot on. Also, I'll say thank you very much for having me. These are my social media contacts. If anybody wants to, if you want us to continue the conversation beyond now, if you put, my name is spelled Taofeek, T-A-O-P-H-E-E-K. If you put @ in front of it, you're on all of my social media platform. If you put a .com in front of my name, Taofeek, my first name, you're on my website. And I'm also available on, I have pages on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you very much, as Taofeek Babaiju. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today. May Almighty Allah accept everything that we do here as an act of ibadah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, mashallah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. We thank Allah for making it easy to have you today. Your lecture is not all this voluminous, boring one. It was quite precise and straight to the point, and it did the job. Yoruba will say, "Wanti wanti koleni," if no more than one, that is the concept, and the concept was pretty clear. It was clear to the fact that we understand what a leader needs to do and what is expected of leaders as well. Thank you for everyone. Unfortunately, we might not be able to take people to talk, but if you have any comments, can I ask you to put all your comments to the chat box? Or if you have a question for Mr. Abayeju, we are happy to take some questions. Let me check the Q&A to see if there is any question on here. Okay. So I will wait a bit. If you have any question, please feel free to put that across as well. One of the take home that we need to understand, of course, we have gone through that again, the need for a leader to be responsible. It's not just by calling yourself a leader. You need to take action. And he said that without action, if you have a vision without an action, that is just a mere hallucination. You're just daydreaming, basically. So what we're saying is that you need to have a concept, articulate your actions moving forward, understand what do I need to do for me to be able to achieve what my visions are. So thank you very much, Mr. Bayedi, for that. Just a question from someone here. They're asking, would they be able to have a copy of the PowerPoint? If we are given the authority, at the end of the retreat, we will be sending that out to our participants, registered participants. So it is important for you to acknowledge your presence here. If you need any information whatsoever, and also remember that part of this leadership corner, you will be getting a certificate at the end of the day. And that certificate can only be issued if you are registered, if you have your attendance in place. So the attendance will be on the chat box. Please make sure you key in your attendance, very important. Make sure your attendance has been keyed in. That will be shared with us. Let me see if it has been shared at all. It will be shared with us along the line as well. Let's talk about Sir Taufik's book, Unlock. How can people get it? Okay, someone is saying that you have a book, sir, the book called Unlock. They're saying, how can they get it? Would you like to comment on that, sir?
Quickly, thank you very much for the opportunity. Unlock is available on my website, taufik.com, and also available at Roving Heights. Roving Heights is one of the leading online bookstores. They have both online bookstore and a physical bookstore that you can, get across Nigeria. If you get to Roving Heights, you can get a copy of the book, both hardcover and paperback. So, and it's also on Amazon. For people that want to buy internationally, it's also on Amazon. You can order the book on Amazon. And I think those are basic, and some other bookstores in Nigeria. But the ones that I'm sure of, if you go to Roving Heights, you can pick a copy of Unlock. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I can see, are you still there? Can you activate your camera, please, sir? Oh, yeah. Great. So I'm just thinking, maybe we should put it to test. Maybe perhaps all the registered members for this particular corner, maybe is there any way we can encourage them to buy it? Maybe we can have a bit of discount for them. Is that possible?
Okay. Yeah, that is possible. But that will have to come from me directly.
No, we're just asking you. Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, it's possible. We can make that available to maybe about 25% discount. I'm sure the paperback costs about excuse me, 4,000. So for every member here, I don't know how we can work that out. I'll sit with Kabir. We can do it for you at 3,000. So that the 1,000 will be taken off for whoever wants to get that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, sir. We appreciate that. As you've been told, it is only by registration. If you don't register your attendance here today, that privilege will not be extended to you. Don't go calling the youth Amir at the back that I was told this, I was told that. It's not going to happen. Without your request on the attendance sheet, that would not happen. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you for your time. We ask Allah Azza to continue to bless you and reward you with what you do. This is really good. I mean, it's a way of empowering members as well. If you want to start up, you want to be, because yesterday we looked into startup, into how do you start up your own business, how do you make things work yourself. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, no matter what you intend to do, you have to ensure that you have things in place. You have to ensure that you have the right leadership concept. You don't just sit at the back and say, you go and do this, go and do that, sending people around and doing nothing. Those are the things that is an important area for us to look. So Unlock is the name. So please feel free to reach out to all bookshops, and you can contact the Youth Executive Council. They would be able to get things across to you as well, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Can I say something?
Of course,
Closing
absolutely.
shots.
Absolutely.
In the spirit of Ramadan, this very upcoming Ramadan, I would like to give this advice to our brothers and sisters. We need to build our own online community. And news, and there's no reason why or other reason why there's so much misunderstanding about our faith is only because all the people that influence the society, none of them, can put a face to Islam, and all the people that have faces to Islam do not have the platform. So if out of this 100 people, each person can follow each person online, and everything that comes from Nasfat is being retweeted. Imagine for this event that is ongoing, for everything that comes out of this platform, we have 100 retweets or a repost. It goes along to propagate Islam. One of the first things I read in growing up, I think that should be about age 5 or 6, that I saw in a Quran, a free Quran that my father brought from Saudi Arabia, was that Islamic propagandism is a cosmopolitan propagandism. I didn't know what it meant at that age, but I looked at it eventually when I grew up and realized that to propagate Islam, we need to be cosmopolitan about it. We are a bit, what's the word to use? Reserved about our religion. We don't put it on our head, right? And when we put it on our head, it's literally, like they will say in the street parlance, put it on your head. Okay, it becomes more like extremism. But we can engage the society better, with more enlightened conversation. And if for everything that we do for the Amir, for example, if he goes out to say anything during Ramadan and he gets 100 retweets, that goes a long way to communicate something about us. And we get more ibadah, trying to promote the work of Allah. So I beg us, let's create an online community. Everybody here, if you don't have a Twitter account, create one. The world has gone very virtual. If you may not want an Instagram, thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much for that. We appreciate that word of advice. And this is what we tend to encourage members to do as well. I remember a couple of days ago, we had a Twitter campaign for this program. And what we said was that everyone should try to retweet and keep retweeting and retweeting with an appropriate hashtag as well. So guys, you've all had that. If you haven't got a Twitter account, please feel free to get it and know who to follow. Follow the right people and retweet the right hashtag. We have Nasfat Youth Wing. We have the Nasfat headquarters, Nasfat Twitter handle. I'm sure before the end of the day, we'll share our handles as well. And you can make sure you follow that as well, inshallah. Thank you. Sir, we also hope that you'll be able to retweet most of our messages that we tagged you on as well for the event. So at least that's
doing that right away.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Moving on, we would like to acknowledge all the members of Board of Trustee of Nasfat present on the call at the moment. We thank you for your presence, and also the Council of Elders. We thank you for attending the event. And also we want to acknowledge all members of the Nasfat Executive Council that are present on call. The Youth Advisory Council, we thank you all for joining us. Thank you for supporting youth. and also all members of the Youth National Executive Council as well, the YNEC, we thank you. And all the youth leaders across the zone and branches, thank you for supporting the youth wing. We appreciate your support, and we ask Allah to continue to bless you. Keep sharing the word, keep encouraging your members to join all Nasfat related programs, and this will go a long way to support them as well, inshallah. We are trying to empower one another. Moving on, quickly call on to one of our leadership person who has been helping to propagate Islam by encouraging everyone to have the right needed tool, the needed training for them to be able to move on in life. This organization has been supporting Nasfat, has been encouraging, and has been in collaboration with Nasfat to arrange quite a lot of events, training, and workshop for youth members, especially. So we have benefited from their magnanimity. So I would like to call on to the general manager of AVEC, Brother Abdurrahman. I'm not sure if he's here.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Oh, great.
Can you allow me to share screen?
Certainly can do that for you, sir. Now you can.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
We are yet to. Maybe it's coming up.
Hello?
Okay, now we have it. Now it's up.
Okay. I'm trying to share the screen of the upcoming training.
Okay, do you want me to do that? I have the document.
Okay. You can help out, please.
Okay.
It's up now. It's up now. It's up.
Okay. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, firstly, I want to appreciate the leadership of Nasfat from the DOT, the Council of Elders, and the NEC. And more significantly, the leadership of the youth, the National Youth Secretary. We have been working closely. And I discussed with him that it is important I have a few minutes to talk about the upcoming event of AVEC. Program coming next Saturday. And from observation, we realize that so many youth have not enrolled for the event. So the program is tagged employability training. It's a course, and we have gone far and wide to bring experts, people that are headship of HR department of their companies to come and share some things with us. The focus of the training course that is coming up next Saturday is to expose mainly the youth, the young professionals, the job seekers who want to enter into the labor market to some basic requirement of world of work. We realize that people are looking for a job, really, but how many of us are actually employable? How many of us can catch the big jobs? So we realize that you can't lose sight of capabilities in this respect. And that's why we have put this course together. So it's going to have part 2. But for the part 1, it's to expose us to the basic requirement of world of work. It's also to tell us how to land a dream job. A lot of us, we have places we are thinking we want to work. How do we get there? How do we get such job in the nearest future? It's also going to prepare us with the necessary job skills that will make us win any job with focus and pursue in the next future. to also boost our work experience. How do we build work experience into our profile? Will be taught during this course. Very, very important we attend. And more significantly, we are also going to learn about personal branding. How do we package ourselves? I observe today, I see a lot of youth, what we put on our DP on social media. It says a lot of things about us. Some we put, I don't mind anybody under on their DP. So a lot of personal branding tips will be taught during this course, and that will make us better. We'll be able to know how to package ourselves and have the desired corporate look before we can get any job we are seeking. Because in the world of employment, there in the labor market, there are things employers are looking for. And that's why we have those who are director of human resource in big companies, insurance and the rest, to come and talk to us so that we get to understand those requirements and we don't commit the same mistakes we have been committing at interviews, at even placing, attending to job placement. Some of us, the way we package our CV, there are issues. So lastly, at the program, we're also going to be exposed to some career opportunities network, how we can network to get the desired job. So for this program, our target mainly are the youth, the young career seekers, those who want to change their job in the nearest future, those who are aiming big jobs in big companies, multinationals, and big companies, even nationally and local at home here. So we are inviting them to join. Also, if we know anybody that is doing NYSC now, this program is meant for them. Let them enroll and join. Also, those of us that are business owners, we need to get to know some things. We can't be experts in all respects. We need laborers, we need employees, we need workers, we need people to work with us. So what are those things we should look out for when we are bringing people in, so that we don't bring bad people in? We don't bring people that come and ruin our business into the system. So we are also invited to enroll for this course so that we know what is required when we are bringing staff in. So a lot of youths are required to join. May Allah make it easy for us. I want to congratulate us on the economic summit we are doing. May Allah put more barakah in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. I think there was someone that said they registered and they got somehow refunded. I'm not sure what happened there.
Okay. The person should try to re-register. We'll attend to that. Once we have your database, follow the instruction. We ask after payment, we ask to send evidence to a particular number. There are actually 2 numbers. We can do that.
Okay. Someone is saying something about having some training on sustainability, how to sustain work. Apparently said the firms retrench daily. Maybe something that you might want to look into as well going forward.
That is part of the package of the course 2. The course 2 of this particular course focus on getting the job, sustaining the job, and looking ahead of your career. And in future, we'll be talking about retirement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if we still have Mr. Babayeju on. I think there are a couple of questions that I probably missed. Let me look for him. I think he has left. Okay, I think the questions will take that through a few other people going back. Okay, we still have the AVEC GM here. I'm sure he can ask us this. I'm sure he can answer this. Sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry for putting you on the spot here. Someone is asking about how transparent can we be as a tell your employee who the company is owing, what is happening with the company, what is the secret of the company, something like that.
That is an interesting question. As a team leader, you have to be transparent to the extent that you can be predicted on the required action to make goals achieved on the job. So your workers should know your limits and what is expected, even if they do some things, if they are wrong in some respects. So you are vulnerable as a team leader in that aspect. That to the extent you can be transparent, but not to the extent of personal affairs. But as far as the work is concerned, you don't need to hide information. You need to hold any information. You need to manage people and don't take personal, even when people commit errors. So you can as much as transparent in the area of what is required in getting the job done.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We thank you for answering that question. Moving on, inshallah, we'll be moving on to agriculture now. Of course, we learned yesterday that we can actually diversify into agriculture. A couple of zones told us about the relevance of digital world in agriculture. How do you get to become agropreneur? How do you work yourself into things like that? And we have listened to this, and we believe that no other way for us to empower our members rather than bringing people, rather than bringing an expert who can talk about this with us. And we will be looking into exploring agriculture and sustainability, exploring agriculture and sustainability. This will be done by no other person than the MD, CEO of Bollard UK Farms and Agro Allied Limited. The person is Dr. Amit Ali Amin. Dr. Ali Amin is an agropreneur with strong interest across the value chain of both farming and livestock aspects. He is a seasoned legal practitioner and academic. You might be wondering, what is a legal practitioner and academic doing on the farm? You know, that is what we are trying to tell you. Doesn't matter if you're a banker, you can also still become an agropreneur. However, he had developed an interest in farming since childhood. In 2018, he took a significant step in the pursuit of his passion by establishing an ambitious agriculture-focused company, which continues to grow in leaps and bounds. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're ready. I present to you Dr. Amit Ali Amin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi, Doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome, sir.
And very much, very good introduction. I'm pleased to be here to be able to speak to that I've always been interested in. I did not really have much opportunity in my childhood. Part of what I'll be talking about, in the sense that we miss the relevance of agriculture as a sustainable business. When we think of possibilities, when we think of career, when we think of progress, development, advancement, when we think of riches, when we think of comfort, So I will share my screen without much ado. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, it is.
Good. All right, so agriculture for sustainability. Okay, so I mean, sustainability has different meanings, but I think in this context, I'm looking at it in the context of an avenue where one can, I mean, reasonably have a career and livelihood in a way that can endure and possibly endure from generations to generations. Okay, so just as an outline, I will be looking at agriculture, evolving trends in agriculture, just to have, so we have an idea of what some of us might think when we think of agriculture, and what more those who think in the more modern sense might be thinking of when they talk about agriculture. And the Nigerian dimension, where are we in Nigeria? Okay, so I will do a sort of look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as regards agriculture in Nigeria, broadly speaking. And also then look at the position of Muslims in Southwest Nigeria, more specifically. And then Nasfat's potential role in this agri value chain, across the value chain of agriculture. Okay, so now many people, some people, when they think of agriculture, naturally what comes to mind will be subsistence farming, that kind of stuff. So tilling the land. However, many more people would definitely know that agriculture in the much more agriculture in the sense that we are talking about, and in which can actually be looked at as a way to enrich society, is more than the subsistence farming. Okay, so there is commercial farming, the manual related, so where someone has so many ants, farm ants, laborers who work their farm, mechanized farming as well, irrigation-based farming, smart farming, in the sense that this can be more suited to urban areas, or people in Lagos might wonder, I mean, in the heart of Lagos, how can I farm in Lagos? I mean, imagine you're in Lagos and people are shouting about tomatoes not coming from the north and onions, not this and that. And then you've got a greenhouse where you can, do your thing. Okay, there are different ways, for greenhouse farming. Someone with the screen here, you see the normal greenhouse. You'd see a greenhouse that is vertical, so it is going upwards, meaning you can maximize space significantly. Okay, so you also have aeroponics, hydroponics. So all these are concepts. The essence is not to explain each of them. Of course, if anyone wants to hear more about it, maybe questions when I receive questions. But the point is just to point out how people think differently, how we think differently when we talk about agriculture. Okay, so just to have an idea of agriculture being a truly sustainable enterprise, you think of a country like Netherlands. Netherlands is very small compared to Nigeria. The total population of Netherlands is around 16 million, and they gross around, it's like 70 billion. 100 billion thereabout dollars on agricultural exports alone. Nigeria doesn't make this money from the sale of crude oil. Nigeria does not make as much from the sale of crude oil. Okay, so that is just to put things in perspective. Okay, so saying all this, where is Nigeria? All of what we see on the screen in terms of vertical, normal greenhouse, aeroponics, hydroponics, mechanized farming, normal subsistence farming, they are available in Nigeria. There are people doing it, but obviously we have more of manual labor and some form of mechanized farming, to the extent that agricultural extension services, renting tractors, things like that. So that is what we have. That is where we are in Nigeria. What we don't normally do very well is definitely in the Southwest. It's slightly different in the North, is also to do irrigated farming. So we do our farming when it rains, and it's very typical. If there is drought, then there is no food, pretty much. Okay, so SWOT analysis of agric in Nigeria. Now, the strengths, there is a lot going for Nigeria when it comes to looking at the numbers, looking at the potentials, looking at where we should be, where we are. Okay, so I'm just looking at a few dynamics, just few indicators: the land size, water availability, and the like. So the land size, 30 million hectares of arable land. That is the 9th in the world. So that is really good. If we were to prorate it to the population, it might even be better than 9th in a sense. Okay, so renewable water resource per capita, it's 950. It's quite high as well, 15th in the world. Compare that with a country like Pakistan, which has more people than Nigeria. It's 420, and it's 34th. So that shows that there is potential. We've got what we need to be able to become truly interesting and agriculture-based economy. Okay, so also as Nigerians, based on the Land Use Act, the law, there is hardly any legal barrier, except the land is a reserved area, green zone, and things like that. So there's hardly any reservation or any barrier to owning farmland. So this is not the case everywhere. Some places you cannot buy more than this, you cannot, so we don't have that problem. We also have a large domestic market. So all these are given, things that we can always think through, and we understand, yes, we have a large population. We hardly feed ourselves. Really, that means if many more people were to go into farming, it will take a long time before we reach a saturation point. Okay, so that's a strength. Okay, so weaknesses, some of them are very obvious. We would not dwell on some of them because they are what they are. Deficit in security in the whole country. There's no gainsaying that. Also, there is deficit in mechanization. There's quite limited. Many farmers are not able to actually mechanize and adopt the best practices that mechanization helps with. Okay, so also there's problem of expertise. So we have anecdotal ways of doing things. Farmers have been doing things for a very long time, but whether they are doing it right, in most cases, they are doing it based on what they've taken from some other people without actually understanding the basis. Also, there's infrastructural problems, obviously bad roads and the likes, okay? Another weakness, which it's also an opportunity as you find, is for many of our produce, both farming based and livestock based, there is a relatively virgin agro-allied sector. So the presence of processing where big companies need the raw materials of the farmer helps the growth of agriculture in no mean way, in no little way. So you would only really have this agro-allied sector if there is some form of regulation, there's some form of concerted effort to facilitate it. So they would always need raw materials. They would need it. And then that would drive production even more. But absence of such means farmers don't always know where to take their produce sometimes. Okay, so that's a problem. Low export potential as well due to lack of formalization and standardization in the value chain. So note that all of these weaknesses are, in a way, they provide opportunities. So what I mean by this is that Nigeria ends up we have so much potentials, we have so much that we're doing, and the farmers will do what they need to do, but they are not being, there is no body, no organization that helps to standardize their production. And the absence of a standardized process or body makes it difficult to sell goods abroad. So if they were to, for example, Nigerians produce cashew, and countries, Vietnam and India, they would buy the cashew, not at international price, because we don't have the basis for measuring the standard of our cashew. So they buy it, and then they do what they need to do, which is nothing really, and then they export it. So the same thing regarding yam, for example. Nigeria doesn't have a system of certifying the yam seed was okay, it was planted, it was okay, the yam itself is healthy, it's okay. We don't have anything on that. Ghana has it. Ghana exports yam. So Ghanaians will buy yam from Nigeria, put it through the formalization process in Ghana, and then they export it. Even forestry-based stuff, shea butter, the same thing. Nigeria has about 70% of shea butter, but Ghana is the one that is known for it because they have a system for it. Okay, so because they have the system for it. Okay, so now, funding challenges, I mean, that's also pretty obvious, and sometimes many people might have interest, but they don't have the funds. I mean, that doesn't need much saying. Also, information asymmetry. So we have a large market, but you only have a market to the extent that you know who would buy it. If you want it and someone else desperately wants to sell it, if there is no way for you to link each other, then the producer might end up having goods that are not sourced, that would waste, and the likes. These are realities as well. Okay. So the opportunities, they stem from what we said earlier, unsaturated production market. So there is a lot of room in many products, in many even common staples that you think like cassava, for example. The cassava extract that is needed by Nigeria, we import it to a very large extent. And as much as, you know, many more people are going into this and even into the processing value chain, there are big distilleries, companies that are extracting starch and stuff from cassava, yet we don't meet our local demand. And so there is a lot of opportunity, many produce, maize, many things. Okay, so there is that opportunity. We just have to be ready and serious enough. Okay, so I've mentioned the virgin agro-allied sector as a weakness. It's also an opportunity. It means anyone who actually has the ability would be going in a way that they will be able to facilitate much easier farmers and to produce and supply for them without having too much competition. Okay, so too much competition is reduced at this point. Okay, so relative ease towards consultancy. So as a young person, if you're really serious and dedicated, because there is no, the market is relatively, untapped. A few years of experience getting your hands dirty will shoot you up towards conveniently calling yourself a consultant and helping people, advising them and actually helping them realistically to achieve yields. So it's an opportunity. Also, there is increased political will. So there's been increased political will for a couple of years now. Yeah, but that is the truth. The extent to which that is materializing depends on the people themselves as well. It depends on the people. Okay, so now the threats also, these are quite straightforward. Ethno-religious clashes, emboldened underworld, on rampage, people fear being kidnapped and the stuff. So anarchy, most of them are related to security. And then production and post-production losses due to the weaknesses earlier identified. So lack of information, that's information asymmetry, the absence of standardized agro-allied industries and the likes. So all of this could lead to post-production losses. Even though in reality it's needed, what happens is it is so needed. Many things are so needed in Nigeria, even tomatoes, and sometimes tomatoes rot away. Yet Nigeria would import tons and tons in barrels that have been blended tomatoes because they can't use the local tomatoes. And then people don't know that they can plant what is needed by processors. So we import. That is the reality. These are opportunities. Okay, so now, this having been said, I think my interest more lies with and see, because from my own experience, it's a bit there. The experience is not. I've not seen a trend that involves Muslim in the Southwest. In other words, Yorubas. Okay, so I've not seen many. The trend is such that we don't want to end up in the same situation we are sometimes when it comes to, for example, education. So where you struggle, you go to these are all, political matters, you see. So, but you go to a school and then they say they should not wear hijab. Really, reality is there is a basis for all this. There is a basis for all this, which is historical. And if we are not careful, we might be setting ourselves towards something similar. And this time around, it might be more of our fault than maybe some colonial implications or impact. So in other words, if I were to close my eyes and to try to engage anyone randomly that is not subsistent, that is a professional, either looking around me for big farms. I mean, big farms with thousands of hectares, looking for the experts to talk to, a consultant, go to institutions, go to you know, these organizations, IITA, you know, research institutions and the likes, I could close my eyes and open my eyes, I'm more likely to come across Christians and hardly Muslims. That is the truth. From my own experience, I might be wrong. Maybe it's farm is in your state. Maybe it's unique to your state. Maybe, but it's worth noting, and I'll be addressing this here. Okay, so now in the Southwest, generally, we have our strengths as well, apart from Nigeria, broadly speaking. Even though in reality, farming in the real sense of it, in the way it is done properly, the knowledge, not knowledge necessarily, knowledge on the farm, it's done in the north. Okay, so that there is no doubt in that. Okay, we know for sure. From my experience, we see the difference. Okay, so it's more in the south, in the north. But when it comes to the south, we have some advantages. And that is why, okay, in the north, they do more irrigation anyway. So in the south, we have a more favorable climate, somewhat, okay? So, and there is land available. Although, this trend also, availability of land, I'll talk about it briefly, also becomes an issue. Okay, so that's what I'll mention in terms of the strength. Obviously, there are more strengths, but let's just leave it at that. So now, in terms of the weaknesses, okay, so someone says, we don't have land again. There are herdsmen everywhere. Most of the farmers in my area in the Shogo are into other things. Okay, we'll talk about that, but let's first explore what the real what we need to do. Okay, so as I've said, security issues and the likes are challenges, and when it comes to what has been identified, there might be ways around it, which makes things relatively easier. Okay, so now part of the weaknesses is the mindset. Okay, so the mindset in the Southwest generally, but I'm interested in the Muslims. Okay, so, and obviously, from my own anecdotal view of what I tend to come across very regularly, it appears maybe it's more of the mindset for Muslims. Okay, so land acquisition challenges, cost of land acquisition and clearing, low expertise. So I'll be focusing on some of them. I'll be focusing on two actually, mindset and low expertise. Why? Because that is what really we, the youth, we need to take care of. That is what we need to address. So land acquisition challenges are what they are. So if you buy land, family land, and this person they sell to you and this person starts giving you problem, that is what it is, okay? You might not have any such challenges at all. It is possible. Even if you have it, you can overcome it, okay? So that is not technically in your hands. Okay, so cost of land acquisition and clearing is the same. So it's not you that would fix the price, and the price of clearing the land is what it is. So I would focus on what we need to pay attention to. Okay, so in terms of the mindset, what do I mean by the mindset? From my own anecdotal perception, I feel there is a poor recognition of agriculture as a sustainable enterprise. Poor recognition of agriculture as a sustainable enterprise. I would explain. Also, there is a relative inability to envision industrial level agricultural business. Okay, failure to support and capitalize on opportunities. So there might be different reasons for this. So misplacement of priorities sometimes, or even if it's not misplaced, it might be priorities, some other priorities. Let's consider it only in the context of those that actually should be seeing the opportunity. So we say misplacement of priorities, mental laziness sometimes. I mean, I'm being frank, but I mean, this doesn't speak to anyone. This might speak to some, but not all, definitely, and maybe a few, but it is what it is. Okay, so weak research skills, impatience as well. So these are some of our concerns, some of the things. So these are some of the things that we need to look at. So I'll look at it. So now, in terms of what do I mean by for recognition of agriculture as a sustainable enterprise? There is the possibility that we see opportunities. Someone was to tell you about agriculture as a means, or there's an opportunity. To what extent are you? Ask yourself. If someone was to ask you, "Oh, I've got a job for you, and you'll be working on the farm in Oshun, and and maybe you're in Lagos, and then how likely are you to turn it down?" I assume maybe pretty high likelihood. Yeah. Why? Because maybe you don't see it as something that you can do. You don't see it. You don't see it. So I'll explain why I think this might be a problem. Inability to envision industrial level agricultural business. So if agriculture, when it comes to mass land food production, requires large space. So what do we really mean by large space? So if we cannot envision what a complex system of agriculture is, we might look at an acre and look at it like the Atlantic. Okay, so if we see an acre or 5 acres and we are seeing an Atlantic Ocean, then it's an inability to envision industrial level agricultural businesses. So this naturally would impact the way our mind grows and the way we can envision agriculture as a sustainable enterprise. I'll explain why this might be. Also, failure to support and capitalize opportunities. I think that's already said itself. Okay, so now the weaknesses. Okay, so low expertise. So we have farmers. Many of the farmers adopt practices that they've learned from within their farm, within their village, from year to year. The theoretical basis of what is right, how to do it, is not known, and it's hardly appreciated. So the effect of not doing some things or doing something in a particular way is lost to many, meaning that they will readily ignore some steps which might lead to reduced yield, because they did not really understand why they should have done it anyway. So, and this is, I mean, very prevalent, and new farmers as well will just pick up from there, and just picking up from there without being able to dig deeper might be an indication of this mental inability to actually engage deeply with research. Low appreciation to adhere to best practices, low level of expertise in extension services. So we find that we complain of unemployment in Nigeria, but from my own experience, it baffles me. It doesn't somehow feel like that sometimes, because we will regularly struggle to get tractor operators. Okay, so tractor operation is something that farm owners in the UK will do by themselves. So it's just natural. They ride their tractor, but we struggle to find, and they are few. In a country with so many people, that we have still have so little people with skills, basic skills. These are not like driving a plane or riding, it's tractor. So I'm just giving you that as an example. So there is low level of expertise in things that could actually help people to be gainfully employed in agriculture. I'm just using that one as an example. There are many more things of that nature. Okay, so weak vocational training system as well. So even if someone was to learn to be a tractor operator, and there are hardly any vocational centers where you could spend 3 months, or you have to actually work with someone for years and years, and then you get freedom, So that might not encourage some people. But I mean, all of these I'm mentioning are also opportunities in a way. Okay, so okay, so now I'll focus on the mindset. As I've said already, I find it that Muslims are significantly underrepresented in my axis and what I've found in agricultural practices across the value chain. So those primary producers, yam, whatever, all this produce, and up to the processing, packaging, and so they are relatively underrepresented, and also in the expertise. So as I said, you go to ministry, you go to an institute, you go to a research body, you go here and there. In agriculture, for sure, you're more likely to find non-Muslims there that are Yorubas. When I'm talking about Yorubas, why? Why do I think this is the case? I think by noticing or being cautious of the reason can help us to move forward in the right direction. Okay, so there might be many reasons. I'm just trying to think of it in my own little way. Why do I think this is the case? So why I think part of the reasons is limited role models and mentors. Limited Muslim role models and mentors. Okay, so limited Muslim role models and mentors. Okay, so what do I mean by this? I'm assuming if there were many people who have some farmers that are really making headway, they know them, not those people that you hear about on the TV or I'm talking about someone, quite a number of people from within Nasfat, within other Muslim organizations that, yes, you could see, and that person you can aspire to. The possibility to aspire, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have this. Some people pick up their interest because of these role models. Okay, so agriculture is an area where many more people can be employed, and yet we don't tend to have more role models. Perhaps that might be a reason. Absence of these role models will make it less likely that you will be able to spot opportunities. Okay, so an opportunity presents itself. Someone tells you about a job in Oshun or in Ekiti or wherever it is, you cannot see it. And probably it's not because of your problem. It's not like but you've not really you've not seen the idea or the possibility of this can actually turn to something good. I mean, obviously we might have role models, successful Muslims in different areas. I'm talking about agriculture, where someone has developed a large farm, and maybe as part of your excursion within the organization, the person is part of the organization, and then many people have been able to go there from within your Muslim circle, and then you can start to see how a real farm works. It can then become beautiful to you. You lose this opportunity, and whether we like it or not, the less the people that are in these fields, the more difficult it is to create experts or to build expertise for Muslims, because they would not really go into it. Those who go into it will be, there's always that tension between, in the reality of Nigeria, jobs being available and someone speaks about it within their own circle. I mean, if we don't have so many people being able to talk to you or mention opportunities to you from within your circle, it ends up that such organizations, such institutes, such bodies will be filled with a set of people. That is the reality. Okay, so we should get ourselves. I mean, I would urge our elders. We have many wealthy Muslims that will be able to, if they could do something in this regard, that would be that would be very good. Okay, so now just to mention something specifically about inability to spot opportunities. So sometimes even this inability is so acute that even people who studied agriculture might not really be able to see the opportunities because they don't really see it as a sustainable means for them. They're not engaged well enough with a farm. They might even score a first class or the likes. A friend of mine, I mentioned an opportunity for the friend, but I would assume that they could not see it because of what I'm talking about, because they did not address it at all. So this is the kind of thing that we miss out, we miss. Okay, so where we have opportunities and those that are really engine for it and really beckoning for it, non-Muslims, generally speaking. It is what it is from my own experience. Okay, so now just hints for youths. There are opportunities there that we can exercise in our own limited ways. As long as we are ready to engage effectively with ourselves, with the limited resources that we have, we can still do a lot of things. So there's a lot going on in the farming aspect, and regardless of whatever negativities that we might be dealing with, we might be hearing and might be scaring us, there are also many opportunities. You could do smart farming. Maybe you have a small garden. It would amaze you what you can achieve. It would amaze you what you can achieve from a small space. Okay, so in Netherlands, this is just pure knowledge. It's not like they're doing anything other than applying knowledge. They would produce more tomatoes from like a square meter than what would produce even on an acre. This is, if you understand the description I'm talking about, this is really small area. In a year, the amount of tomatoes that will be produced from there using hydroponics is very, very high compared to what we produce in open farm going hectares. We use a very small area to produce a lot. And there are ways to do these things relatively inexpensively. So we should be ready to engage. There's pipes. There's a way you get a pipe, normal pipe, PVC pipe. There's a way you find what to put in it. Many other things that could be learned. And then in a relatively inexpensive way, in your own backyard, you can start to make your own money. So there's also livestock. So when we talk about livestock, we think a lot about land. This is part of our problem. We tend to put it to a particular ethnicity. So these are other things that we could key into. So now, just very briefly about, that is the youth generally, but then Nasfat itself as an organization, there is scope Why is not, why, I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe I don't have the information. Why is Nasfat not thinking of agriculture in a commercial sense? For what it's worth, obviously there is a lot of prospects in it, but also even for as sort of an incubator for young Muslims, opportunities, internships, and the likes. Okay, we can also facilitate between people. And there are other ways that might not involve so much. Why can Nasfat look into, for example, commercializing certification, allow certification? Okay, so we eat meat in Nigeria. This is a very ripe market. Many people want to eat halal, or we just believe, we just take it for granted that, oh, maybe the person killing and slaughtering the animal here is a Muslim. These are opportunities. Okay, so this would also open doors and leave avenues for young Muslims as well to be able to fit into a market. This is a fresh market by itself, certification, allow certification. Okay, so that is just my own little idea. Thank you very much for having me. By the way, the farm is Boladuk Farms, not Bolad UK. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Boladuk Farms. MashaAllah. Thank you very much. You know, it's only those who has followed through who understand the detail in the discussion. Our doctor took us back to classroom and he itemized bit by bit about why should we engage. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to continue to bless you and reward you and put barakah in everything that you do. You can see a man of his word, he kept to time and bang on time, it's done. Unfortunately, you didn't allow my members to ask questions. You know, I was thinking that we'll be able to have a couple of minutes to take some questions. I would have to appeal to the chairman of the summit to give me a few minutes to take a couple of questions as well. This is really good. I think the last part that you finished with, I will implore the leadership of NASFA to look into this, you know, allow certification. That is important. In Nigeria, in UK, is a as you said, it's a new market that can be tapped into as well. And also, how do we look into engaging into commercial enterprise? Honestly, we cannot thank you enough for your for the material that you gave us today. Thank you very much. There's a question here. Someone put something earlier. He said something about, I think he has gone up a bit. Yeah, I've got him. He said, our employers should create sound business process management that would attract youth into farms. The laborer master mindset of farm employers is a contributing factor. I think it's more like a comment, but I would like to look at it as, do you have any, how you think this can be enhanced or prevented or supported?
I mean, my response to that, I think I would use my farm, for example. We have laborers, and the reality is that laborers are not Nigerian. They are from Togo. And the Nigerian staff are the ones that we deliberate every single day. So we rub minds, and they are the ones that implement the instructions. The more expertise you have, the easier it is for you to be able to have conversations and also help in driving the business. So in terms of laborer, I don't definitely see my staff as laborers. I expect them to engage critically. I expect them to play a role in building the business. So I don't know what experience this person is alluding to. But I also know some other farms that have the bottom line, the more expertise you develop, the easier it is for you to be able to, you know, as an employee in the right sense, not a laborer or as a semi-skilled or unskilled person.
Okay, thank you. If you do have any, I can take one more question for we.
There is one thing I would want to mention about, which is someone has alluded to it, which is regarding security, farmlands not being available. I think that is very important to talk about. Why? Because if there is anything that will dissuade, that'll put anyone back, who might be interested in farming, is the prospect of, oh, this person was slaughtered in the farm, this person was this, that person was kidnapped, stories of my maize and everything on my farm was consumed by cattle rearers and stuff. Okay, so these things are real. I mean, if I was to tell you that they don't happen, I would be lying completely. Nevertheless, when something is reported, when news items make things appear that they happen on minute by minute basis, even if not even talk about daily basis. Okay, so the proportion of people that will lose their farm produce will still be extremely minute, extremely. Okay, for the person who loses it, for them it is not minute. It might be their livelihood. So it's still very. Because the farm is relatively big, so there is this impression and there is this perception of a big company. They call it agric. So they naturally have kind of respect. Actually, it's real respect. They have respect for the institution. They are more careful. What can we do? I think the way forward, if you have a small farm, you probably need to aggregate. I think that would be a better approach to avoid, to come up with a stronger force presentation as a unit, as an agricultural institution, company, that they can have a reason to avoid. The more that we go on 2 acre, 3 acre, they feel stronger, and they feel the person is someone that can be easily pushed aside. If you can afford, why not come together, a few people, have it as one entity, even if you operate within it in your own different ways. From the outside, it should be seen as one. That might be a way to limit this potential. We've not experienced, and inshallah, we pray we never have, although we've had to be very strong ourselves, so they have a reason to not want to come near us. I will not say more than that, but we've had to actually address things in a way that they know that we are not joking in the past. So now we don't have to worry as much anymore. That's what I was saying about. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. A couple of people that says, someone said he wants to become a backyard tomato farmer. People are saying that they would like to go into farming, and is there any privilege, opportunity of mentorship or training or tutoring? And if they need to get involved with your farming, where is your farm located? A couple of questions on that. I just want to put like 3 questions together.
Okay. So the farm is located in Oyo State. So, okay, we're going to be specific. Okay, so some people said they are interested in different aspects of farming, tomatoes and the likes, opportunities for mentorship, if I heard correctly. So is there opportunities for mentorship? Yeah, I mean, I would have hoped that we had people with even much more significant experience, but we have what we have, and then we deal with it. So I'm open to helping in the way that I know. and to use part of my resources to be able to help people as well. I mean, when I say resources, I mean people that might even know more than me, that I'm able to direct and instruct in a way that can help people. Yeah. So how can this take place? I think it depends largely. I myself, I mean, there's hardly any way to actually do many businesses, definitely not agriculture, without mentorship. I have mentors myself. So younger guys that are more, that gain more experience, I speak to them as at when needed. So it could be in that regard as well. In future, we might also have opportunities to invite people to spend a couple of days or weeks on our farm, but that would come in due course. When it comes to basic mentorship, obviously you can talk to Mr. KG, ask him, and he'll know how to get in touch with me if there is any need to facilitate connection.
Inshallah. Unfortunately, the time is, we're meant to finish bang on at 1 o'clock. Chairman Summit, sir, can I borrow 5 minutes? If you're happy with that, I just want to ask about agro-allied. Okay. I think Chairman is not available.
Okay, we can give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. Someone asked about agro-allied. They would like to know, in terms of the business side of it, an idea of what the cost will be like on a small scale.
You see, I mean, the term agro-allied depends on what exactly you want to process. So this is just the secondary, you know, the primary production, and then how you use the primary production. So it depends on the produce you're talking about. That determines the kind of machinery you, maybe if the person has an idea, what are they thinking about?
Okay. Poultry feeds.
Okay, so poultry feeds, it depends also. You could do relatively small scale where you'd have a normal grinder, you know, almost something similar to the grinder that you'd use for dry pepper or something like that. And you'd have your source, have your farm, you plant maize, soybeans, and these other things that you need to put in. You can do, effectively, you can do from the size of your room, normal shop. You can have a machinery that will just be chucking out a few 100,000. You can, but the issue would not be the machinery itself. The issue would be the inputs, because inputs are not very easy to come across. There is scarcity of most of the input that you need. Okay, so however, if there was a way to be able to do these things and you have access to the inputs a bit more, there are renewable, sustainable byproducts that if you were to learn the knowledge, gain the knowledge, you'd have input unending without spending money. If you gain the knowledge and you apply the knowledge. Okay, so there is black soldier fly and some other things that you could cultivate at the back of your house. And then you use it as part of your primary produce. So you don't have to worry too much about the protein content for the poultry feed and the things and the maybe, for example, the fisheries, and you know, you don't have to think too much about it. So in other words, how can it be cheaper? The machinery itself will be 100,000, there about 200,000. You have a shop, then you buy bags, then you might be able to gain knowledge in biological wastes produce that you could generate, you could cultivate yourself. You just need the initial phase, and then they keep growing, giving birth. I mean, maggot, and then you use that. So in short, it can be relatively cheap if you're ready to apply knowledge.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we should, I think the message went through. I think the leadership of Nasfat Youth will be reaching out to you. Amir, am I saying the right thing? If for need of extended discussion on this, there are ways that Nasfat can tap into the opportunities that agriculture provides or gives as well. So inshallah, we want to thank you for coming, for honoring our invitation, sir. It has been a privilege to have you. You may take, you just mentioned, okay, we have 100 acres of land at Ibuora. My worker has left the farm. Okay, we'll come back to that. The time is gone. Thank you very much. We will be taking the chairman of the summit now, the person of Brother Said Ademola Lamidi. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, chairman.
Okay, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think the chairman is experiencing some network issues, so I can just take the remarks on his behalf, sir.
All right, sir.
I can't see your.
Okay. So I want to appreciate our facilitators for today's event, right from our Hebrew brother, Brother Mr. Tafiq Babayanju, that has taken us through the leadership corner. And again, Dr. Hamid, your presentation has been so wonderful. And I want to say that we've really learned a lot today. Part of the purpose of this summit is to give us a roadmap to strategic development, human capital development, and business development, and which the thoughts of the team and the youth wing also is in line with what Dr. Hamid has presented to us today in agriculture especially. So we are hopeful that for every session that has been done today and that will still be done, we will be taking it further after the summit. So post-summit, we're going to be having a program around agriculture. We're going to be having programs around leadership. We're going to be having programs around digital marketing and so on, so as to see how we can change, have a mind shift of youth members and change the status quo. At least in another 2-3 years, we should be able to say, oh, from the economic summit, the youth week has been able to develop A, B, and C, inshallah ta'ala. And I want to thank all those that have been in the session. We're going to close this session now to come back by 4 p.m., I suppose, and the moderator is going to tell us what we'll be expecting at 4 p.m., inshallah. It's not over until it is over. Thank you so much. We so much appreciate everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Amir, for that. We will be taking a break now for Salatul Dhuhr, and to also reconvey for both Salatul Dhuhr and Salatul Asr, to reconvey, inshallah, at 4:10, whereby we'll be taking digital marketing as a tool for business such personal growth. And this will be taken by no other person than Mr. Ibrahim Oriyomi Olaniyan, who is the team lead of digital banking at Jais Bank. We'll also be looking at an advice on reimagining youth empowerment strategy. That is, we're taken by Dr. Oladipo Abiodun Koyu. We also be able to take the 2 zones that are yet to make their presentation today as well, inshallah. Thank you very much. From myself, my name, I think I forgot to tell you what my name is. My name is Abdurrahim Keji. From everyone around the Youth Economic Summit, we say Jazakumullah khairan for your attendance. We appreciate your attendance. Amir, you want to say something?
Yeah, okay, so sorry for cutting in. The certificate for the leadership corner, some people are already asking how would they get to subscribe for the certificate. Inshallah ta'ala, we're going to send the certificate link. It's going to be an e-certificate. We'll send the certificate link to your emails that has been registered with us on the attendance sheet. Just like we said earlier, the certificate, we have 2 certificates for this program. And one is certificate for attendance for everyone that has attended, and the second is certificate of proficiency in strategic leadership, which is going to be subscribed for, inshallah. So that will be communicated to you through your email. That's why we said everyone should ensure they register. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. As we said, all these certificates are all useful materials that you can always make reference to on your CV, because we're getting you employable, so get yourself the certificate, make sure you're registered, make sure you get the appropriate requirement to get the certificate. From myself, and somebody's asking who's Rahim Keji. Rahim Keji is a young man from Oshodi. Thank you very much. May Allah continue to bless us and guide us. And it's actually the Zonal Youth Coordinator, Zonal Youth Secretary of Nasfat UK and Island Zone. Thank you very much. From myself and the entire team, we say Assalamu alaikum.